Now, we talked a lot about managers to start the episode off. I made it hard for us. So I gave us the top 10 managers in the world currently. This was hard for me. You said it was hard as well.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of them might end up being managers with teams in the top 3 or 4 in their leagues, which is a lot of recency bias. But it's hard to sort of get every manager in there with what's going on at the moment. But it's going to be a tough one. We might get slated for these lists.
Yeah, this is hard. This is really
hard.
But
I thought it's topical and it's a good time to get it going.
Even now I'm debating.
I'm looking at some of my names.
I'm debating on number 10 still. Still.
Do you want to get kicked off with your number 10 and see how we go?
I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
I'll go with, this might be interested in linked to Liverpool tax. I'll go with Xabi Alonso at number 10.
Oh, wow, okay. I might have much higher. I'm a lot higher than you.
He's one of the best up and coming managers at the moment. Like, I was debating between him and Thomas Tuchel, right? Because Tuchel, again, like we spoke about it before we went on air. Like, it's because you're trying to, obviously you're focusing on this season, but you also need to take into account what they've done in the past, right? So obviously Tuchel's won, the Champions League with Chelsea, did well at PSG for the time he was there. But like this Leverkusen side hasn't lost this season.
It's ridiculous.
Like they haven't lost, and they're playing good football, And one thing which probably lent me to go with Alonso was signings and like the budget. He's like, they've brought in Grimaldo for free. Xhaka was free. You have a look at guys like Patrick Schick up front, Frimpong. Like he's developed players and turned them into genuine, really good players. And with Tuchel, I know he's done that as well, but again, it's quality of players and it's the budget.
Get it done.
So I've gone with Alonso, number 10.
I'm worried I might have missed a lot of names because I got Alonso in my tie.
We'll see.
I've got someone I'll talk about the team a bit later on, but I've got Sebastian Hoeneß as my number 10. He's the Stuttgart manager.
Okay.
Turn them around. So they've been relegation playoff last year, 17th the year before that. And they've gone this year and now third in the league, scoring goals for fun a little bit.
That's a great shout.
And again, I'm a very recency biased guy, and you look at every single podcast.
It's a good shout though, yeah.
I'm very reactive.
They're not really talked about in any kind of way.
I had to include them this week. We've got them coming up in a little bit, but they have gone. I know it's a 10-point gap to the top, but they're there
for Stuttgart.
Stuttgart are there in the discussion, and it's exciting. And it's all the Bundesliga team. It's so exciting to watch. I kept an eye on their last few weeks because I really want to talk about them at some point. And looking at the way he plays the football, I don't think it was going to translate to many other leagues.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to include him here just because this season has been ridiculous for them. We're talking about a team that was 90 minutes away from going down last season into the second Bundesliga. So the turnaround's been ridiculous in this team. Talking about getting the best out of some players as well. Undav's hat-trick on the weekend.
He was bloody Brighton, wasn't he?
Yeah, mediocre Brighton player. Came from Belgium, did really well in Belgium. Didn't think he could do it in a top 5 league, but he's doing very well. I think it's 10 or 11 goals a season in the Bundesliga. So
that's a good.
I had to put him in there.
That's a really good shout.
Very reactive, but they've been so impressive this season.
I was thinking of Peter Bosz at PSV as well. I was very close.
A very good
I was
job.
very close to putting it, but then I was just thinking like leagues and
I would say that league this year has been so one traffic.
That's the thing. Even Jaap Stam said, like, he said a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you watched like the overlap with like him, Ian Wright.
I haven't watched that one. I haven't watched that episode. No.
He was saying like the quality of like the Eredivisie, like the top 2-3 teams are really good, and then it's just
to drop off. Is
so
ridiculous.
that's kind of why I went Alonso.
I kept an eye on him I think the difference is crazy. Yeah. You're number 9.
Yeah. I went with Michel or Miguel.
Yeah.
I went with
he's a
Munoz
superb manager
at Girona.
Yeah.
What he's done again, budget, developing players, just plays great football, and I mean they're top of the league I think at the moment.
Yep, still
Madrid
top.
have a game in hand, obviously. Just a good manager. I think he had 2 previous jobs where he got promoted. And then I think they got relegated straight away, but still, like, to even gain promotion, and they're not big clubs. The ones that he's
promotion's a big thing to do as well. It's an underrated thing to do.
Exactly. So he's my number 9.
I'm so worried about my listener.
I'm worried about mine.
My number 9 is Stefan Pioli.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit harsh as well. They haven't done as well recently, but been so good over a period. The Milan side.
He's not in mine.
He's not going to make it.
No, he's not in mine.
Yeah, I've definitely missed some players.
Crap.
Um,
I think maybe I've valued a couple of managers too high here.
well, I think you've done a bit more longevity. I'm just going with what's going on a bit right now.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to balance.
He's got a thing about Pioli. He's got a really average side, and I think he's had for a lot of Italian sides. They're not. There's no superstars.
Yep.
Obviously, got Leao in there. He's a gun, but
Loftus-Cheek this year.
Loftus-Cheek came through
Yeah.
clutch on the weekend. But they're saying Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek. These aren't
They're not household names, and they were like Pulisic was a flop at Chelsea.
Yes.
But Loftus-Cheek never really got the chance.
no chance to
But
show you what he could do.
He's
shining.
loving that box to
Yeah,
box.
yeah,
role.
yeah.
Getting in the
Up
box.
and
He's a
down the
big
pitch.
unit as well. So any
Command
ball,
space,
yeah,
right? It commands space.
Yeah.
He's made like players like Calabria look like a really good player. Theo Hernandez has worked so well under this system as well. Well, obviously not Leao's done, and maybe Leao's probably hurting his ranking here because Leao hasn't really been at the races this year in terms of what he's done the last few seasons. So, mate, I think he could be higher and maybe a year earlier. We could talk about things differently with that Milan side, but I feel like very good considering the group he has. Like, we're talking about Olivier Giroud, a part of this group and stuff like that. So maybe I just valued what he's got there at his disposal and how they're going. But yeah, I feel like I have to get him in somewhere here. So he's my number 9.
Again. Yeah, no.
You're number 8.
I've gone with Mikel Arteta.
Wow.
Number 8.
Fair play. Fair play.
I know that he finished eighth, and then it was second, right?
Yeah.
He won an FA Cup in his first couple of months being at the job. I know he's only won an FA Cup and stuff like that, but I do think the job he's done at Arsenal is. I still think it's a little underrated.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's fair.
I think at the time of buying Ramsdale, at the time of buying Ben White, Ben White for like 50 odd million.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Ramsdale, who got relegated with Sheffield United,
And
everyone thought he'd
wasn't
be coming in as second fiddle to Leno.
I know.
Developing players, he's been brilliant. Again, they've done well in the Champions League. They topped their group. Premier League, they're 2 points off us. So, and I think he's going to be heavily linked to the Barcelona job, which means they rate him quite highly.
Yeah.
They think he's the man. So, again, I'm not totally convinced by it because he doesn't have the longevity of some other managers out there, maybe.
Yeah.
But I do think he's a really good manager. I do think he still needs a couple more signings. But yeah, I've got him number 8.
Right. All right, my number 8 is Inzaghi. Another. Yeah, is that low? That's
low. Yeah.
I've given the few above. I think it's just a bit longer.
Yeah.
In terms of they've been around for a little bit.
It's,
Very good though. Like we talk about
very good,
walking leagues and they're just winning cups for fun. Like again, but you got other guys like Michelle who couldn't quite fit in, but I would put him in currently and stuff like that. But just because of what this guy is like, Inter's now the powerhouse. The tides are turned in Italy, well and surely in Champions League final. It's probably is a little bit hard considering how recently Bias have been, but Champions League final.
Won the Supercoppa.
Scudetto, coming always through. It's just for this guy is now just taking control. And again, this Inter side, again, there's no household real big time names. A lot of good players, but he makes this team just function on a different level. The speed of football is different to what we're used to in Italy as well. They play with a much higher pace than most sides. With Onana their last season, how they play so progressive, playing out from the back. It's different. I think that's a lot to be said about. The Italian leagues always feel like it's a little bit behind the other leagues in terms of how progressive teams are. He's brought that to his side. They've been a winning team, a champion team in many regards. So I've got him at number 8.
Very different so far.
You're very different. I'm worried I'm going to head him.
I think I've gotten ahead of Mikel Arteta.
I've definitely missed. Well, I'll be honest. I missed him. I didn't put him in.
I think I've ranked him a bit too high.
I've missed one manager already, which I know I've had a mare.
I think,
I've definitely missed one which I've stuffed up.
Anyway, number 7.
You, do you want to go with 7?
I went with Allegri.
Great call. Love this guy. Love this man. I love him.
Yep.
Superb manager.
Obviously, his first stint at Juve was ridiculous. They won a bunch of, domestic kind of doubles, I think it was.
Yeah. League form was ridiculous.
Made the Champions League final as well. Got just unlucky in that because Real Madrid were just
best team of all time.
Joke. Especially that game. Some of the goals they scored. But even the job he's doing now, again, it looked a little bit kind of sketchy. Last year they got the points deduction, so it looked a bit what's going to happen
What's
here.
going on, yeah.
I think as well, like he was under a bit of pressure last year because
Yeah.
they weren't playing great football.
Yeah.
But this year, like Vlahovic has been ridiculous. That defense has been so solid with Bremer, and I think Szczesny's up there with one of the most underrated keepers in the world. Probably he's been really, really good. They got a good midfield in McKenty and Locatelli and some good youngsters in like Timothy Weah and stuff like that. So I think he's a really good manager, and obviously what he's done in the past as well, you can't forget. So to even be close to Inter, I think
That says a lot.
very, very good as
That
well.
says a lot. All right, my number 7 is Xabi Alonso.
Okay.
Very bold. Just maybe because I have a bit of a soft spot for them because of what they're doing.
I mean, they haven't lost.
No, I'm gonna say they've broken all these. I'm pretty sure now it's getting close to like longest unbeaten streak in like professional football, top 5 leagues. Like they've obviously smashed the German record. I think they're 3 or 2 games clear of that longest unbeaten streak. It's exciting. It is slowing down a little bit though. They got a draw on the weekend and nil on the weekend, so maybe we're seeing the first signs of the cracks. But the biggest thing, which you always touch on well, he's done it with no budget really, and has turned it around with names you wouldn't think would fix a team like this. Like I always say, Jeremy Frimpong was a winger, then went back to a right back. Now he's a wing back, and he's found positions. He made Granit Xhaka look like one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah, like
and
you wouldn't expect them to push them to top of the league.
No chance. Like Palacio scores a win the other night. He's not going to be a league winning player, but he's turning into that. And with Boniface, he's a big move for him to make that call and say, this is the striker I want. And the form he's had, utilising other players in different positions as well, I just think, and finding Florian Wirtz and making the player he is as well. I just think, in terms of developing players and making players great, this could be the start of it. And, maybe in 2 years' time when he does a job maybe with Liverpool or wherever he goes, he could be like a top 3 debate by then. So,
and it's not just this, like he did turn the club around last season. He did, Like
it's
seven's
a constant
seven's
up
fine,
there. So I think, maybe a little bit biased considering I've got Inzaghi below him, but I love him what he's doing at the moment.
6. I went with Unai Emery.
Oh my God, as well. Okay, go on. I've got some bigger. But
obviously, the job he's done at Villa, ridiculous. I know they lost 3-1 to Newcastle, but again, this is a team that should not be in the top 4. Maybe around 6th, 7th.
That's their spot.
Would be again still a brilliant job, but to be 4, they are 4th.
Still 4th.
Still 4th. I think if Spurs win, I think they might go above them. But again, the job he's done at Villa. Unbelievable. Villarreal, won the Europa League with them against United, against Liverpool, and got them to the semis, got over Bayern, and then we were 2-0 up, and then they brought it back to 2-2 in the first half, and I was thinking, oh my God.
Times
the yellow tsunami, the yellow submarine.
Submarines are coming.
And then PSG, obviously, he had the whole thing with like the whole Barca incident where they were up, 5-2, and then they choked it. But again, I'd put that more on sort of player kind of management during a game. It's still won the league. They still did a decent enough job. Obviously, Arsenal didn't quite work out, but still, a lot of people forget his first couple of months at Arsenal were actually good. Like when they brought Torreira in and Aubameyang was and Lacazette, like they were actually a good team to watch.
It was a good little era there.
Got them to a Europa League final. Obviously, didn't go well, but again, his whole manager career has been really, really good. And then now at Villa, he's been unbelievable.
I can't have forgot him because I love Emery as well.
Yeah.
Now, there's been 2 non-Premier League bias here, but all right. My next one is Allegri.
Yep.
At 6, I feel harsh saying anyone in these guys so low because I think in their own right,
it is hard.
There could be
really hard.
number 3 because I think the top 2 are the top 2 for me. But any other of these managers could be up there. Talk about longevity of winning. This is not the manager also just wins. I think he's a serial winner, gets things done. And in terms of like some of the managers who are out of jobs at the moment, he feels like, with another name I'll say a bit later on, he's one of those older heads that just wins games of football.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be pretty at times, but he's coached some of the great players and some great teams, and that is respect to that as well. We've seen some coaches struggle with the big names. He's dealt with that. He was arguably, in terms of when I've watched football, a part of one of the strongest sides in that Juventus sides that I've seen play. Like that, there were some serious names that unit and that team there with some Italian champions going around. So a winner, the trophy backs it up, the players that he's coached and the way he's turned this, Juve team around. You talk about McKennie and Vlahovic, but these are young guys that he's had to change his management style to fix up. So definitely love him as a manager.
Yeah, no, good
really
shout.
really good manager for me.
Yep.
It's my number 6.
Nice.
Top 5s.
5, I've got Inzaghi.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Obviously, you spoke about it before, but I think like you lose Onana, your number 1 keeper, one of the best keepers in the Champions League. You bring in Sommer, who is fucking incredible. He's such a good keeper. You lose, a bunch of guys like in previous years, like Lukaku and all these kind of guys. I know Conte was like the manager then when they won the league, but like he still left, and then you turn Martinez into a great striker. Mkhitaryan's career looked finished at Arsenal. Now he's, the revolution.
One of the better midfielders.
A really good midfielder, so brought in guys like Thuram and,
Thuram's
again, like they're a big club but budget. Like they don't really go out and spend big. It's good deals. It's smart deals in like Sommer, Thuram, DeMarco's been, really, really good. He's changed the way he's kind of played, and they're just a really tough team to beat. And I think they've only lost 1 game.
Something like that. They're pretty resilient.
They've been, as you said, I think last week, they've been around the mark for, a good couple of years now.
That's really true. Because whereas AC and Juve had the little like dips, Inter's always there. Like they're always in the second or top of us at the moment.
Yep.
All right, my number 5 is Simeone.
Yeah, nice.
Purely because of that's a bulk of work. I don't really like the way he goes about it. But it's been how many years now that he's been there? You can't not put him in a sort of top 5, top 6, I feel like. Again, the other managers that got above him play better football and have maybe won a bit more. But with an Atletico side that's always a little brother in Madrid, always in it, just fall just short, he still is able to make the most of some decent players, but nowhere up to the top level that some of the players, the other big clubs in Spain. Look at the team now, Axel Witsel, Depay, other players you think, where's their careers going? Are they stagnating out? The way he made Renan Lodi one of the better fullbacks at the time. Centre-backs have never really been their strong suit, but they've got like Manze Hermoso, who just put consistent performance in. He just gets the best out of his units, and that means it's not exciting to watch.
Yeah, no.
But they go to Champions League quarters and semis, or the odd, have a round 16 upset. That's just what he's done. So, again, not much in the trophy cabinet, but he's the bulk of work and what he's done for that.
And think about team. Like majority of his career's been how good have like Barca and Real Madrid been. It's been
Ronaldo.
Virtually impossible for a club like that to, and they still won a league title
in that
era, which is mental and a credit to how good he is.
He's done fabulous work, God's work with that team. I feel like, but not quite the guys above him. That's why,
and that is why he's my number 4.
Well, so there we go.
He's my number 4. Yeah, again, like the development of like Griezmann and you just spoke about it. You said it bang on, like longevity, how long he's been at that club. Again, it hasn't been the most attractive football. I feel like they've gotten kind of better with their style of play this year, for sure, especially this year. And like a bit of like a basketball reference, I always think of Atletico as like the bad boy Pistons back in like the kind of the early 90s, like late 80s.
Try and take to the big boys.
Like they're going to be this tough beat, this aggressive, ruthless. We don't care how you think we're going to play. We're just going to do it, and we're gonna be unreal at it. Yeah. So, he's my number 4.
Okay.
I'm actually so interested.
I'm perplexed at what I've done here. Well, I've got Thomas Tuchel at 4.
Wow.
And maybe that's a play style thing, but I rate really highly Thomas Tuchel. A Champions League win with Chelsea that I don't think they didn't have the right to win that at all. I think that is one of the biggest achievements he'll have in his career. He might go on to win another 2 Champions League, but I think that might be one of his biggest achievements. That team, I know it was good, but we've seen the way that most of the players have gone and turned out afterwards. That team shouldn't have beaten City or shouldn't have gone all the way in that Champions League. That, for me, is one of the biggest achievements for him. It was shaky at Bayern last year, and I get that, but they've turned it around. They've only lost 1 game. We forget because of what Leverkusen have done, but they've only lost 1 game in the league this season. Haven't been great in the Champions League, but he's still sorting out with Bayern. I was impressed with what he did prior to Chelsea as well at PSG. Again, it didn't quite work out. But I still think the resume is there. Yeah. It might not have the cabinet yet. And this might be I'm now trying to pull on strings. It's not quite the cabinet. No. But I like the way he plays and I like what he's done. And I rate that Chelsea Champions League very highly. I rate it very, very highly. Yeah. First, he coming at City. Second, the teams he knocked out in the knockouts as well. yeah, when Kai Havertz scores your winning Champions League final goal, I think that goes to show where that team was.
Yeah, I think I might.
Maybe
he might be on
he's
the money. Yeah.
maybe he's not a top 4. Maybe he should be below Simeone and Allegri. But
I probably should have swapped him with Arteta, to be honest.
I just think Arteta has so much less
The
proven.
reason why I am and probably was turned off him is because I don't think his style of football is sustainable in a way.
Yeah, good point.
Like obviously his time at PSG was a couple of years.
Yeah, not
Chelsea, as successful as he was, again they wanted him out. I know it was due to like the new ownership coming in, but still they weren't having a good season.
Yeah.
And then at Bayern, like there's like I don't think they're fully convinced on him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But like again, like the Champions League with Chelsea, I think he got PSG to a final.
They got beaten up by Bayern.
They got beaten by Bayern, but he still got them to a final, which no manager's done considering the players that they've had, right?
True. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think
He's a manager. I think it's
he
almost
probably
like
should be in the top 10.
he's a Marmite manager though, because you're either on him or off him.
Yeah.
And maybe they've got him way too high, but maybe Unai should be in there somewhere. So maybe Tuchel goes down and maybe Unai sneaks in.
Probably Arteta shouldn't be in there for me then.
Or
maybe
quite
like
sold on Arteta yet.
Yeah.
I think someone we both missed then is Xavi. We've actually touched on him and we haven't clearly considering. And it's a short spell, but I've got managers who have literally a season.
I was thinking of him. It's just
that's the first manager I thought of when I said, "Oh no, I've missed him out." But I guess he's going out, so maybe that's a part of it.
Yeah. I still have Tuchel ahead of him, to be honest.
Fair play.
I think I've missed.
I'd probably still as well, but Xavi is someone who
fair play on Tuchel. I think I've missed out there. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too high on him.
I think I'm too high on Arteta. I'm too low on.
Maybe that sort of way around. Yeah.
Oh,
Top 3s are going to be exactly the same, I assume, but it depends your order we want to put them in.
I'm still debating 2 and 3. I'll stick with
Okay, I didn't think you would.
No.
If I'm thinking correctly.
I've got. Should we do just 3-2-1 straight away?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I got 3. I'll stick with it. 3 Ancelotti.
Yeah.
2 Klopp. 1.
Exact same. Yeah.
We spoke last week and you said it well. Ancelotti's whole career is probably underrated and not talked about enough. He's mentioned in that top. I'll use a Flynn Tyson word here. Echelon. But
That's a good one.
But like it's just it's so hard because I love Ancelotti. He's a great manager. When Rodgers was sacked, I actually said I would go with. I said I'd go with Ancelotti. To be honest, I said Ancelotti over Klopp just because he had a history. Like Klopp still had a history of winning things at Dortmund, but Ancelotti had the more like prestige sort of clubs.
Yeah,
and I thought we want to be back there.
Let's get him
because he's the most sort of precious kind of manager out there. But yeah, I've gone with Klopp because like you have a look at some of the play, like some of these players are outperforming heavily.
Picked up.
Like Curtis Jones has become a brilliant midfielder this season, and I started season I was like, this guy, man, like it's Scouse tax. That's all it is. But now he's proven me wrong, and I'm glad he has.
He's top midfielder.
You know, look at Joey Gomez playing left back. You know, Tsimikas when he plays was actually quite good, and I know Ancelotti can do that, but I just think Klopp in a harder league with probably one of, if not the greatest Premier League team ever. In terms of Man City.
Yeah.
You know, teams like Brighton, West Ham, Villa, Bournemouth and Wolves who are in the lower half are still tough teams. So that's why, and obviously like Dortmund and his time at Mainz was still really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I did dilly-dally because I have so much respect for Ancelotti and what he's done.
And you said it, I'm big on Ancelotti, but I still think Klopp, in terms of right now a little bit as well, he's so adaptable. I'm so big on Jurgen Klopp's had 3 iterations of his Liverpool team, and no one's really, I think, appreciated it, or even 4 in many regards. That starting team where you have Emre Can and like Sacco, and I think you still had Alberto Moreno,
Adam Bogdan in goal,
Jordan Ibe still cutting about. Like that's a guy who went to Bournemouth and disappeared off the map, but he was playing this team. Like you still have Benteke and Ings and stuff. Like Jurgen Klopp had those players.
Yeah.
Pep's never had those players. That's why people argue that. But Ancelotti wouldn't do the same thing with those players. And then he's gone and evolutionized that to that high pressing team, the Henderson, the Milners. And again, Henderson and Milners, they're great players, but they aren't Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. So still, again, there's all respect to Klopp again. He's produced with that team there and made Sadio Mane probably one of the best footballers across 2 years.
Yeah. Maybe
ever. This was a Southampton play. He made probably the best in the world across maybe a year and a half, you know. What he done with Mo Salah as well, who was a reject from Chelsea and was really good at Roma, but can he do it to the Prem? Absolutely. No, he's made the team around him. Roberto Firmino, good footballer. Nothing special.
Oh, great.
Made him an absolute superstar. Like, that's that team.
Yeah, at the time he was, just a good footballer.
Genie Wijnaldum as well. Like that team there, the high pressing, high energy at times on the halfway line, but more just that energetic team to win the ball back half the pitch. The Virgil van Dijk. Then you've got that little dip off where you had no Van Dijk and you're playing like Phillips and you're playing, makeshift players. And all these guys, and it's all a bit all over. That's where we first sort of find these young players like Jones and the like. And then you go back to that again once Van Dijk comes back, but to a lesser extent. It's not that same high pressing team. It's slowing down. So he recognises that. And then Liverpool 2.0, which in my mind is Liverpool 4 or 5.0, is let's have deep line playmakers. Let's adapt to what City are doing and what Arsenal are doing. Let's have more deep line playmakers. Let's play on the halfway line. Let's play in more high possession situations. And let's change the way we go forward. Let's have guys going to be, in behind bang goal. Let's not press as they're still going to press, but not the same, energetic Firmino, Mane, Salah. It's, we'll let them have a little bit of possession, but we're going to win the ball back in midfield areas and get Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Jones to create from deep plays. It's so many different iterations. And Ancelotti, in many regards, has had the same sort of style across his career. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it because he still wins so many trophies. But again, he's coached Real Madrid a few times now. It's the second iteration there. Did a great job with Everton, but that eventually fell off as well. Like, he's the same as what Jurgen Klopp's done. No, Jurgen Klopp, in my mind, if you consider that City team, he's won 3 Premier Leagues in many regards.
Yeah.
So close to a second Champions League. But again, you come up against the end game, Ronaldo, Bale and Benzema. That's the last time we ever saw them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's it. That's the peak of Real Madrid. So he's been the most unlucky manager in many regards. He might go down as the most unlucky manager in terms of who he's come up against. And that's why he's second. And even, I even started talking about Dortmund. Again, falling short to, in a Champions League final to one of the great Bayern teams as well. Like, he's so unlucky, this guy.
Yep.
I just love his whole package. And obviously Pep's number one because of so many trophies. But we could sit here and debate all day long about who's actually the better, who would you actually want to play for? Yeah. That's a great topic for summer when we've got nothing to talk about. But that, to this day, is still going to be one of the great debates.
Yeah.
Would you want Klopp or would you want Pep? But Pep's numbers.
Yeah. I mean, any Liverpool fan would say Klopp, any City fan would say Guardiola.
Yeah.
Who would you rather play for?
I'd always said Klopp. Recently, I'm edging towards Pep because of how Pep's had to deal with the odd hiccup here and there. Because I didn't think he could deal with hiccups. He's dealing with them quite well. But if you want to play under a manager, I think Jurgen Klopp's the guy, right? He's just energetic.
I mean,
up for it.
You're not losing if
you probably looking at one of the two best.
It's not if you choose Klopp. It's like a Guardiola.
Not the end of the world either manager. But there we go. There's our top 10.
Good list. Good list.
So